A material is a collection of properties and values that together achieve specific appearance. These ingredients are shader, texture, and mapping. In this lesson, we will focus on shader. So, it is time to take responsibility for our lives and recycle all the garbage we produce. But how do we know what goes where? We need to know what each object is made of. Let's start with the can on the right. We can immediately say it's supposed to be metallic. But first, let's create a new material for this can. When an object is selected, in the Properties editor, we can find the Materials tab. Click New to create new material. It was created with a default name. Make sure to name everything to keep things in order. Let's call it Metal Can. Once we have a material and it is selected, the editing area of the material attributes will open up. When we create a new material, it is created with a shader. What is a shader? It is responsible for defining how surfaces interact with light, and it communicates directly with the render engine we are working with. If I remove the shader, you will see that the object no longer responds to light. I will return the default shader called Principal BSDF, and we will again get all the parameters for defining the material and its response to light. Let's get to know some of the different parameters of the shader, the ones that will determine the appearance of the material. Base color. Clicking on the tile of this channel will open up a color palette. We will choose a grayish color suitable for metal. The next channel worth paying attention to is the metallic. Here we define if something is metallic. In practice, it has to do with the type of reflections we will see on it. A can is definitely metallic. Under it is the roughness. It's defined the roughness of the object. 0 for glossy and 1 for matte. A can is more on the glossy side. We set 3 parameters and we have something that resembles a metal can. And now we know which category it belongs to. Let's move to the next one. We have a bottle of washing gel. Let's select it and see it has no material. If we select the can again, we will see that there is a material on it. So the settings here are different for each object. Moreover, I can bring to the selected object, the washing gel in this case, other materials that are already in the project. Clicking on the icon here next to the name will open up a list of all the materials in the project. For example, the metallic material we created for our can. Now both have the same material. Note that the materials are global. They exist within the project and are linked to objects. If we look in the outliner at the contents of the objects, remember we said that the objects are like holders of different type of data? Then you will see that the two objects are linked to the same material. If I change the color on one, the other will change too. In case we would like to duplicate the material and have it as a unique one, we have this button here. It got the same name with a suffix of 0.001. And if I change a parameter on it, for example the color, it will affect this one only. Let's remove the metallic, give it a bluish color, and raise the roughness so it will feel like a matte plastic. Here we have a glass bottle with a label and a metal cap. These are all one object and not separate objects. Note that I have 2 slots of material on the same object here. One of them already contains a material. It's the label. Let's choose the available slot and create a glass material. In order to create the feeling that the bottle is indeed made out of glass, we will turn on the transmission. Now we have reflections. In order to also see the refraction of light through it, in Eevee, in the Material tab, in the Setting area, we will have to define it as Ray Trace Refraction. With the IOR, we can define the distortion we get in the light refraction. On the other hand, in cycles, we will immediately see the refraction of light, without the need to turn anything on, and it will also look more convincing. We also have a bottle cap here. Let's create a slot for the third material, here on the plus, and choose from the project's library a metal material that we have already created for the can. But nothing happened, because we have to assign the material to specific faces in the model, those of the cap. Select the object and enter Edit mode. 3 options appear in the Material panel that are available only in Edit mode. Assign, Select, and Deselect. That way, we can manage more than one material on an object and determine which material belongs to which part of the object's surface. For example, if we select the slot of the label material and click Select, all the faces assigned to the labeled material will be selected. We will choose the slot created for the cup. Then we will choose all the faces that belongs to the cup. With the entire cup selected, I will press Assign. Now, we can see the metallic material on the cup. Even though it's not a separate object, it has a separate slot with a separate material. Alright, you green panthers, we have learned about shaders in Blender and the various parameters which help us define what the objects we create and recycle are made of. Of course, there are more parameters in the shaders, such as whether the material emits light, whether it has sheen like on clothes, if it let light pass through it like wax or human skin. We also have other shaders, like hair shader, volume shader, and more. We have here 3 more objects that require your help defining what they are made of, and also try using parameters that we have not used until now. In the following lessons, we will learn about the other elements that will complete our materials and make them specular. See you in the next lesson.